The NFL draft is tonight, Bull, and The Athletic put out some pre-draft roster rankings.
Yes.
And I'm going to let you set this up because you're the one that brought this to my attention.
Yeah, it was a good article, even though I can't remember who wrote it. I thought it was interesting. So basically, I like reading these things because we are all biased, right? And when I say we, I mean everybody. You look at the team you cover or you root for, and you know those teams better than. It's always funny to me when we do it. When you say, well, this team's better than that team. Yeah, in some cases it's clear. Mm-hmm. The Browns are better than the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, that's obviously true. But when the teams are relatively close, which a lot of the teams are, it's silly to say definitively one team is better than the other because we don't know, just like those people that are doing sports talk in Buffalo or Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or Baltimore, Kansas City, they don't know the Browns as well as they know their team, and they don't know the whatever. Same thing for us. We know the Browns roster inside and out. We know every player that's going to play any significant time for the Browns. Mm-hmm. And we know their strengths and weaknesses, how good they are. And then as fans, we tend to maybe overrate our own guys a little bit. And the guys who aren't as good, maybe we don't lower them as much. Mm-hmm. So I like what sometimes when you have a national writer, and The Athletic does a great job, despite the fact that they've hired Jason. I mean, I don't know what's happening.
Is this a Jason Lloyd?
No,
article?
it's not. I can't even remember who wrote this.
I was trying to find it.
I got it right. I got it here. But
I mean, if it's The Athletic,
if it was Jason Lloyd, we'd
this one's definitely The Athletic. This one,
I did not.
This one was written by. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Austin Mock. Do you know him? I don't know who he is.
No, I don't know Austin.
Austin Mock. I don't know if he's doing mock drafts, but anyway. So now it's one man's opinion, and we don't know. He may have biases too. Who knows who he roots for? Maybe his favorite team is the Buffalo Bills, and that's why he's got them higher than I would have guessed. But anyway, he ranked all 32 teams at this point, or as of a couple of days ago, which, pre-draft, in terms of the overall roster talent. We've had conversations like this on the show. Sometimes we've done it where it's like, well, not including quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But he's obviously including quarterback, and you can tell from his rankings that the quarterbacks are heavily weighted on this list, which I think makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
Fair. That's fair.
He's still got the Bills as a top 5 team. Now, on the surface, I didn't think of the Bills. This is different, Mike. I don't know why we're putting this up.
Is that the one you sent us? You sent me that this morning.
That's
yeah, but that's not. I thought we were doing the Athletic roster rankings.
Oh, I thought that was The Athletic. My bad. That's bad
no.
of me.
That's PFF's AFC
that's
Power
terrible
rankings.
job out of me. Terrible job out of me.
Yeah, that was something different. I thought we could use another time,
My fault.
Anyway, so the Athletic. So this guy ranked all 32 teams, and take it however you want. You got the top 5?
The top 5.
Yeah.
And let's just read them here.
Yeah.
Because obviously I messed that up.
Yeah.
San Francisco, number 1.
Yes.
Kansas City.
Kansas City was number 2. And I got to pull up the text from Bull here.
Baltimore
3, Buffalo 4,
Philly 5.
Philly 5.
And then he also ranked the AFC North teams. Steve, now you can take it. I didn't screw this one up.
We got.
These are the 4 AFC North teams in their rankings.
Baltimore's 3, Cincinnati 10, Cleveland 14, Pittsburgh 22. Now, when you look at the top 5, you could tell the quarterback is heavily weighted, and he downgraded the Bengals. A year ago, everybody was thinking Joe Burrow was the second best quarterback in football.
Yeah.
But Joe Burrow was hurt and didn't have a particularly good season. He got off to a slow start. He played, and then he played a little better, but then he got hurt again, and so he didn't have a good year. And so he's dropped, and that's why
he's got the Jets above the Bengals.
Which is I disagree with, but all right, whatever.
No, it's The Athletic. It's right. Everything's right.
There you go.
Wait a minute. The Jets above the Bengals, y'all disagree?
Yes.
I do. Yes.
Why?
I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
I don't either.
What do you mean?
I mean,
coming off that injury,
he's
and
40 and coming off an Achilles injury, and he was already in decline even before the injury. No.
So y'all just going straight off the quarterbacks then?
Yeah.
No. That thing says The key word in that whole thing says roster.
I know that.
Well, a big
But
part
the
of the
biggest-
roster.
Roster.
But
you act like Aaron Rodgers a bum.
I don't know what he is coming off an injury. Jason and I believe we don't trust him anymore. You obviously still trust him.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, the Bengals got a better wide receiving core than the Jets, a better offensive line than the Jets, better, believe it or not, even though I don't think the Bengals are that good at this position, they're better than the Jets at tight end.
Oh, I thought you was going to say running back. I was going to tell you.
No, the Jets have a better running back, yes. Defensively,
Who
I
is
think
the Jets tight end?
it
C.J.
is-
Uzama?
No, they cut him. There's some kid they drafted last year. He was okay.
It's
as
a
rookie.
nobody.
I can't remember. Now, the Bengals don't have a great tight end either. It's Mike Gesicki is their starting tight end. But he's better than the guy
They're
the
about,
Jets
to draft,
have.
they're about to draft Brock Bowers.
I don't think he's going to get to them.
He's got the Falcons 12.
See,
Jeremy-
I just
Jeremy
did
Rucker.
something. I just did something that I hate when people do. I said I don't think he's going to get to them 18. I only believe that because of mock drafts. I have no idea. But it's mock draft group think right now makes me believe Brock Bowers won't get to 18 when I really have no clue whatsoever.
Defensively, forget about it.
Yeah,
Except maybe D. No, yeah. No,
I mean, I don't know.
I take Henderson over Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals secondary, the corners are fine. They brought back Von Bell. How's he doing, by the way? Have you spoken to him?
I have talked to Von.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the last conversation was about.
And the Bengals got good linebackers. I don't think the Bengals defense. I think the Bengals defense is adequate. I don't think
Who
it's
are
great.
they corners?
They've got Cam Taylor-Britt.
Who they drafted from Nebraska 2-3 years ago.
He's really good.
Okay.
And I'm drawing a blank on their other starting
Because
corner.
Cheeto's gone.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on their
Mike
other starting
Hilton?
corner. What's that?
Nah, he's
Hilton?
a nickel.
I can't hear you, Mike.
He said
Mike
Mike.
Oh, Mike Hilton's their nickel corner, and he's really good.
Yeah.
But I can't remember their other starting corner at the moment. I don't know if that position's been determined yet for sure.
They got Houston 11. I'd put Houston above the Jets.
I would too. But
I
again,
would too.
so I was most surprised that Buffalo was that high.
Yeah, he's out of his mind. They don't have.
But they got Josh Allen.
I don't care.
Well, you don't care.
I tell you, you know why he put them top.
You don't think the quarterback should weigh the heaviest in
I'm
these
gonna tell you.
rankings?
I'm gonna tell you why he put him top 5.
Yeah.
The bill because Tom Brady got on there and they asked him, "What quarterback don't have a ring that you expect to have one soon?" And he said, "Josh Allen."
When was this?
This was like a month ago.
So you think this guy had Buffalo 4 because Tom Brady said he expects Josh Allen to win a ring?
Yep.
All right. What do we think about the Browns being ranked 14th?
I think that.
I think it's pretty close.
I mean, I like the roster. The quarterback play in the injuries is the only reason because of it. If they all were who they were in their primes, then this would be a top 5 roster. But I think that your concerns is at quarterback, running back, and your receiver productions outside of Amari Cooper.
Well, let's. I'm going to read the whole list, and we'll do the quarterback. Do the Browns have of the teams in the top 15? Do the Browns have the most questionable quarterback situation? At 1, you got Brock Purdy. Not that he's the best, but his team is number 1. 2, Mahomes. 3, Lamar. 4, Allen. 5, Jalen Hurts. 6, Jared Goff. Not great, but he's been pretty good these last 2 years for
He's
the
been
Lions.
lighting it up the last couple of years.
7, Dak. 8, Tua. 9, Aaron Rodgers. Now, both Jason and I think they should be lower because we're worried about him as a quarterback. You don't agree. 10, Burrow. 11, Stroud. 12, Kirk Cousins, the Falcons. 13, Stafford. 14, Deshaun Watson. 15, Jordan Love. So, of the top 15 teams, would you say that the Browns have the cloudiest quarterback situation? However you want to describe it. Maybe cloudy is the wrong word.
Well,
What Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles too, right? Or what was his injury?
I can't remember.
It was an Achilles. That's correct.
What's that?
Are y'all worried about him?
It was an Achilles. That is correct.
Okay, and
worried
he's
about
old
Kirk?
too.
he's old, not as old as Aaron Rodgers.
So what?
But here's the thing: Deshaun ain't been good in 3 years. So,
Well, I mean, comparing to Aaron Rodgers, sure.
But
yeah.
so I mean, if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback here, or if Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback here, and you were looking at Deshaun in another city, you would say that guy ain't been good in 3 years.
That's right.
I'll take our guy over that guy.
That's a fact.
Right.
So for that reason,
That's a fact.
You have to say yes.
Yes,
Cleveland has the
the
cloudiest.
Browns are the highest ranked team with the biggest question mark at quarterback.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, unless you put Aaron Rodgers.
Because his injury is more recent.
Right.
But, I mean, Deshaun's injury ain't no joke.
That's a good point.
So-
And Aaron Rodgers, who was showing signs of decline in Green Bay,
Yeah,
but not what we saw from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still good. He just wasn't as good as he'd been in his prime. And he's old. I think he is a question mark. And I think they are a question mark.
Yeah.
And I would put them lower.
I mean, we had at least I did.
Yeah.
Had the Browns higher than the Jets last year when Aaron Rodgers was healthy.
Right.
And Deshaun was healthy at the time.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, both have had pretty significant injuries, season-ending
Yes.
injuries. So in my mind, I think I'd still, as a whole roster, I think I'd still take the Browns over the Jets, I think.
Although, one big difference. Last year, Nick Chubb was healthy.
That's fair.
And last year, Breece Hall was coming off a serious injury.
Yeah.
Now, Hall's
That's flipped.
healthy,
Yeah.
and Nick Chubb's coming off a serious
That's a good
injury.
point. I think they're still neck and neck.
Because I think Breece Hall could be easily a top 5 back in the league this year. Don't you, Travis?
Yeah.
Right?
Easily.
So
He will be.
right? I think he's a good
Yeah,
chance
he
he will
will
be.
be.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I really think in the end, the Browns being 14th on this list is almost irrelevant because if we know, and every conversation with the Browns eventually comes back to what is Deshaun Watson going to be this year, and the only reason the Browns are if you told this guy who wrote this list, he goes, Deshaun Watson's going to play like he did in Houston. Well, all of a sudden the Browns are 3 on the list, or 4, or 2, or 5, whatever. They're in the top 5. If you guaranteed that Deshaun Watson was going to play at the level he did in Houston, then the Browns are in the top 5. So whether you're angry that they're 14, you think they should be 5 or 6 or 8 or whatever, they're 14 because this guy, like many others, doesn't have a lot of faith in Deshaun Watson, which is reasonable.
I want to argue your point, but I can't because 4 is Buffalo, 5 is Philly, but then 6 and 7 are Detroit and Dallas. I'd for sure put, if you're guaranteeing me 2020 Deshaun, I'd put him over Dallas. I'd put him over Detroit.
Definitely.
Mike,
I'd put him over Buffalo.
Mike, who was Deshaun's receivers in this year he did really well?
Nobody.
Well, he did well every year.
Give me one second.
Nobody.
No,
you mean 2020,
the best one.
stock boy years where
The
Well, in
the best year.
2020, he had his best statistical year, but the team stunk. Mm-hmm. In 2018 and 19, he wasn't as good statistically, but he was still very good, and the team performed better.
I just want to know, do you think the Browns have enough in the passing attack
Yes.
for him to be successful?
Of course
for
they do.
sure.
Okay. So,
Tyvis, the year he threw for nearly 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His leading receivers that season, you ready? Mm-hmm. Brandon Cooks had 81 catches for 1,150 yards and 6 touchdowns. Almost identical to Amari Cooper 2 years ago. Amari went a little over that.
Yeah, and Amari Cooper's better than Brandon Cook's a good player, but
Amari's
he's not.
better.
Amari
Yes.
Cooper's better.
His number 2 receiver that season,
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller, 53 catches, 879 yards, 8 touchdowns. You hope you can get that from Jerry Jeudy at a minimum this year.
Yeah, I mean that's
You
what Jerry
better.
Judy's been in Denver.
Yeah, you better get that.
The third receiver, big drop off from 1 and 2 to 3. Randall Cobb, 38 receptions, 441 yards, 3 touchdowns. You
that's
better
Elijah
get that
Moore.
at minimum from Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
His leading tight end that season was their 4th leading receiver, Jordan Akins, who's on this roster
Right.
in Cleveland currently.
And obviously Njoku way better
37
than
receptions, 403 yards, 1 touchdown. They had Kiki Katui.
him. Kiki Cutie.
No, it's Katui.
You sure?
He's from East Texas. I'm pretty sure it's Kiki
Okay, I thought it was
Katui.
Cutie.
And David Johnson was their leading rusher.
He was terrible.
So,
he was that deal
the weapons
in,
were now granted.
Arizona.
Granted, they sucked that year. They went 4-12.
Yeah.
Deshaun played much better than a 4-12 record would indicate, but they went 4-12 at the end of the day.
And people have said, listen, I'm sure he obviously put up some of those numbers in situations where they were getting beat.
Yeah.
But if you look at the analytics on that season, he was the highest graded quarterback in the league that year. But even the 2 years before that, where again his stats weren't that lofty, he was still very good those years, and they won more in those years. And he had what's his name?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah.
In 2019, so the year before they
Yeah.
fell off, DeAndre had 150 targets, 104 receptions,
Jeez.
1,165 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. And who was the second leading receiver that year?
He
Fuller,
had
right?
that
Will
many
Fuller was
catches with only 1,100
I know,
yards.
that's wild, isn't it?
Yep.
What?
No, he didn't have 150 catches.
No, he had 104 catches
Oh,
For
yeah.
1,100
for
yards.
1,100 yards.
Yeah, you would have.
It's like 10 yards.
That's weird.
And the year before in 2018, the Texans were good that year.
Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins had his monster. That was the year he went buck wild. 163 targets, 115 receptions, 1,572 yards, and 11 touchdowns.
Isn't that funny? He only had like 9 less catches the year after, and he had 500 less yards.
Yeah.
Their number 2 receiver, it goes from 1,572 yards to Will Fuller with 503. 1,000 yards. 1,070.
Man, now Will
separate.
Fuller's out of football. He hasn't played in a couple of years. That guy, whenever he could never stay healthy, but when he did play, he had some big. He'd make a lot of big plays.
I went against him my last year in college, my last game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was fast.
really fast.
He was fast.
but he could never stay on the field.
That boy could fly.
But I'm surprised nobody's given him a chance in the last 2 years. But anyway, yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. So the difference in the end between Team 1 and Team 15 and everywhere in between is how good is the quarterback play. Because the talent of the rosters from Teams 1 probably even past 15, probably to 20 or 18 or wherever that line is.
Oh, they've got the Chargers 16,
Right.
and Justin Herbert's better than a lot of
Right.
the
But
quarterbacks ahead of
see,
them.
but in their case, the rest of their roster is not very good. That's why they're so low, even though they've got a good quarterback.
Who they leading receiver now?
Now,
Quentin Johnson, the receiver they took in the first round last
They'll
season.
probably
who had a
draft
bad
somebody.
first-
Who had the drops?
I mean, aren't they picking high enough to take Neighbors?
Yeah, they picked 5th. The
so
they
consensus
gonna
is
get
they're gonna trade
if
down.
Arizona don't take whatever
they're-
receiver they don't take.
Come on now. This is all nonsense. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going first. There's no doubt about it.
in terms of receivers,
Yeah.
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 you agree?
All right.
He better.
He better.
You be a fool.
I heard somebody make this.
You be a
if you-
fool
you're
not
fired
to
if
do
you
that.
don't.
I just seen the thing that said the Colts about to trade up.
I heard this comparison yesterday. Said Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be Larry Fitzgerald, and Neighbors is going to be Tyreek Hill. Who would you rather have?
That was Cleve TA.
Oh, was it Cleve TA?
He put that out a couple weeks, something like that a couple weeks
I saw
ago.
somebody post it yesterday.
Would I rather have Larry or Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
I'd take Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's a more complete receiver.
In today's NFL,
I know speed, but
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald was.
Tyreek is gonna put up crazy numbers though.
Yeah.
John
Without the off the field stuff, because
John-
Tyreek Hill's a really bad guy, but
John Cooper.
Whereas Larry Fitzgerald's a great guy.
John Cooper tried getting Larry Fitzgerald to Columbus, and Andy Geiger shut it down. That's what I was told. He could have had talk about
he-
wide receiver. He could have had Larry Fitzgerald. There.
I
He tried getting
mean,
him.
he would have lost the last game of the season.
All right, Mike.